Welcome. I'm Anna Quisia, your host to the Let's Talk Cyber Resilience series, where we get to meet the leaders of cybersecurity and data resilience. In this episode, we are joined by Katherine Keefe, Managing Director and Global Cyber Insurance Lead. Katherine, thanks so much for joining us today. You've had quite a career journey through the cybersecurity industry. You've worked at a large law firm, Beasley, then at one of the biggest global insurance brokers, Marsh, and now in risk consulting at Kroll. I'd love to hear how those different perspectives have shaped your view of cyber.
Sure, Anna. Thanks for talking with me today. Yeah, it has been a journey, and I feel like for me, it's each of my stops along the way have really been building blocks, one to the next, in looking at data privacy, data security, to where we are today with the prevalence of cyber insurance in the face of sort of the never-ending cyber attacks. And I think whether you, like I was, whether you are a practicing lawyer in the space, whether you're on the side of, working with an insurance carrier, whether you're a cyber insurance broker, or as we all are today here at Kroll, working directly with clients in cybersecurity and helping our clients improve that. These are all interconnected spaces because privacy and data security is as much a technical security issue as it is one that raises legal issues, insurance issues, and compliance issues. So they kind of all nest together. And the theme that I think sort of takes precedence is that in order for our clients and organizations to do good security, those other pieces of legal, of compliance, of insurance are also quite important. So it is very sort of symbiotic. And I've enjoyed a career path that has helped me see the connections between all of these aspects
Yeah,
of
that's
the
really
cyber
interesting.
insurance conundrum. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Katherine. So you're now leading cyber insurance at Kroll. What gets you most excited about this role?
Oh my gosh, I'm very excited about cyber insurance at Kroll. Kroll is just such a known brand in the space, a long-standing company providing excellent service and offerings to our clients. The cyber insurance carriers recognize that longevity and quality of brand in a space where there are a lot of startup companies and unproven organizations. Yet Kroll stands heads and shoulders above those. And we're very proud of that. And to be able to work with our extensive client base and all of the incidents that Kroll has managed and support that Kroll has given to clients can be paid forward by way of cyber event data and other information that help new clients and new carrier relationships down the road. So the depth and breadth of what we do and the team that we have here at Kroll to do it with is very, very exciting to me.
That's great. And I know you speak to customers and clients every day. So let's talk about industry trends. You've seen, as we've established, cybersecurity from so many angles, right? Legal, insurance, and consulting. So, what's driving the cyber insurance market right now? And for companies that are sitting on the fence, why should they seriously consider cybersecurity coverage?
Well, I think that what's driving the cyber insurance market today is just the fact that technology is never going to stop evolving.
Right.
As we see, with the advances in AI, in crypto, and other areas, that it's just the rate of change in networks and systems is just extraordinary. And that's not going to slow down. And you couple that with the need that's now greater than ever of keeping these systems and these evolving platforms secure. There's always a role for improved security and staying on top of that. And insurance gives us an overlay to all of that that helps organizations sort of transfer, at least from a financial perspective, some of the cyber risk that we all face, but also what comes with most cyber insurance policies are services and support that the carriers provide, whether it's access to vendors like Kroll or whether it's access to tabletop exercises or pen testing or other kinds of value-added services. Those are really important. And for organizations considering whether to purchase cyber, really looking at the service component of the policy is a really important thing to do because those services can be quite valuable.
That's great. So it's not just kind of like pure incident response. I'd love to hear more, and I'm curious about what you're hearing from clients about incident preparation.
Well, it's a speech in a gospel that we've been preaching for about 15 years now, which is to develop a plan to prepare for that inevitable cyber event. And I think that organizations need reminders about that because in the day-to-day work of any busy company, any busy organization, some of that good blocking and tackling about being ready for a cyber incident gets forgotten, right, in the press of daily work.
Yeah.
But, refreshing incident response plans, understanding, what stakeholders could be affected if there was a breach or a cyber attack, how to, marshal the internal teams to work together in the event of an attack. Those are, good things to practice and to talk about well ahead of an actual event from occurring. But a lot of that, as I said, gets lost in the daily sort of press of business. So we do a lot by way of trying to remind our clients
Yeah.
who are cyber policy holders or not about these really important preparatory activities.
Great. So clearly, cybersecurity has become a boardroom priority, right? For companies looking to strengthen their defenses, what should they focus on first, would you say?
Well, there are probably, 10 to 15 security practices that are now have become table stakes in terms of having them or not having them is an indicator of whether an organization has good security or not. So examples of this might be, multi-factor authentication, segmenting areas of the network away from each other, segmenting, segregating backups off of the main network. There are a lot, privileged access management. There are a lot of specific, discrete areas that CISOs and their teams need to really be focused on just as a matter of good security, but also to demonstrate to cyber insurers that that the organization is in good shape from an insurance perspective, that they're a good risk
Right.
when they go to purchase insurance. More often than not, cyber insurance underwriters are asking very detailed questions about these specific areas of security. So organizations that take the time with their insurance broker and with their vendors like Kroll to ensure that those areas are all covered off will position that company much better when it comes time for that insurance purchase or that insurance renewal.
Great. And so you spoke about some best practices around security. I'd love your thoughts on building cyber resilience across an organization, whether you're a Fortune 500 or a small business.
That's a huge question, Anna. I think that, it's a team sport, right? It's not just the role of the CISO or the IT team in a smaller company to be responsible exclusively for security. As you mentioned a moment ago, it's now become the job of the board to ensure that security is happening. And that means things like understanding the board and the C-suite understanding the challenges and limitations that the organization has and supplying as best as the board and C-suite can the funding and the resources so that good security purchases, good security decisions can be made, as well as all of the process and other areas around having plans, having procedures, making sure that security is top of mind for all employees and stakeholders, making sure that it's discussed, very regularly, that it's very sort of top of the inbox, if you will, so that all employees and all customers are very familiar with what each organization's security commitment is.
Right. Thanks so much. To close out, Catherine, what would you say to someone who's starting or pivoting to a career in cybersecurity?
Well, first of all, I'd say they're making a very good choice in terms of a career direction because, as we talked about a minute ago, this area is not going to go away and it's going to become even more fast-paced, even more exciting as technology changes. So I think in addition to, picking a good spot for a career, I think having a high level of intellectual curiosity, asking a lot of questions, not just about the technical security issues, but how all of these pieces and players fit together and understanding that the security, legal, compliance, insurance worlds are all kind of part of the equation. And some of the most interesting careers and people I know in the space have done multiple things in the space, and that's very possible. There are very transferable skill sets, as I demonstrate, having worked
Yeah.
on the legal side, on the broker side, on the carrier side, and now on the consultant side, it can make for a very fun and interesting career.
Well, it's been really fun to hear about your career journey, Catherine, and thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thanks for joining us for another insightful conversation. Learn how cyber and data resilience experts can help your business. Stay ahead with Kroll.